So this is a decision in the case of AMOI Leon-ISSA, who is a claimant, Detective Constable Julian Fraser, the first defendant, the Commissioner of Police, second defendant, Her Honor Mrs. Sasha Marie Ashley, the third defendant, and the Attorney General of Jamaica, who is the fourth defendant. This matter was heard on the 14th of July, 2023, and we're delivering the judgment today, which is the 29th September, 2023. Now, as an introduction and background, there is a written decision. We are not going to go through the entire judgment. It is, I think, 46 pages long, so we certainly are not going to go through the entire judgment. We will be summarizing aspects of it, and we just highlight certain areas that we think are important to highlight at this time. In relation to introduction and background of this judgment, the claimant, Mrs. AMOI Leon-ISSA, filed a constitutional claim seeking declarations, among other reliefs, under Section 19 of the Constitution of Jamaica. Now, the subject of this claim surrounds a production order granted by the third defendant, Her Honor Ms. Sasha Marie Ashley, which she alleges breaches her constitutional right to privacy. Now, the first offender, Detective Constable Julian Fraser, made an ex parte application for the grant of a production order in respect of the key to an iPhone, the property of the claimant, for the purpose of an investigation into the death of GK. We are only giving the initials of the deceased as due to his age. So into the investigation into the death of GK, son of the said Mrs. Leon-ISSA. The murder of GK occurred on Thursday, January 13th, 2022, about 11:30 a.m. between Oak Hill Avenue and Fairfield Avenue, Fairfield Estate in the parish of St. James. Now, on Tuesday, September 6, 2022, the production order was granted by Her Honor Mrs. Sasha Marie Ashley in the St. James Parish Court, and we in fact detail what the original production order, the contents of the original production order. Now, the production order granted was upon an ex parte application of Detective Constable Julian Fraser. The circumstances under which the iPhone came in the possession of the police is also of great importance. The iPhone was retrieved from the vehicle that GK's body was recovered from. The claimant stated in her affidavit that she had given the iPhone to GK to keep him occupied whilst he was in the vehicle. Based on these facts, it is understandable and reasonable that the investigators would wish to view and possibly utilize the contents of the iPhone to assist them in their investigation. So we had found that we find on an assessment of the evidence before, the objective of the investigating officer is investigation concerning the death of GK. The iPhone may be useful in the investigation, and as such, the request to retrieve potential relevant data cannot be considered arbitrary, and that the relevant data would be rationally connected to the investigation. We found that the order made was not overarching, and based on the evidence, we conclude that it would be proportional to make an order that the key to access the iPhone be produced. In conclusion, we find that although there would be a breach of the claimant's right to privacy, it was proportional in a free and democratic society. The court finds that the request for the key to access the data on the iPhone would be limited to investigations into the death of GK, which occurred on the 13th of January 2022. It is our considered conclusion and finding that the benefit gained from granting the amended production order that would aid in the investigation into the death of GK far outweigh the breach of the privacy of the claimant. So the orders that were made is that the claimant is not entitled to any of the declarations sought in the fixed date claim form. 2, an order quashing the orders granted by the learned Parish Court Judge Sasha Marie Ashley on the 6th of September 2022 and the 18th of November 2022 is refused. Now, the court does not find that the amended production order granted on the 18th of November 2022 to be unconstitutional, void, and of no legal effect. Now, an order for vindicated damages on the footing that the actions of the first, second, and third defendant amounts to a breach of the constitutional rights granted to the claimant by the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms and the Cybercrime Act is refused. The claimant is to produce the key to the iPhone as per the varied production order made by Her Honor, Mrs. Sasha Marie Ashley, on the 18th of November by 4 p.m. today, the September 2023, and there's no order as to cost.